All right, so I guess we should start with why we moved to Orlando in the first place. No?
It's been 5 years now since we moved to Orlando.
Time flies
Super
when you're
fast.
having fun.
Yes.
So I guess I'll get into the first reason why we moved to Orlando. That is the cost of living.
Money.
So we moved from South Florida. I know some of you may be thinking, well, Orlando's still expensive.
Yeah.
But when you move from South Florida, then you'll understand the difference.
Definitely. You're talking about housing. The overall cost of living in Orlando is 15% cheaper than living in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow. Yeah, and I believe the housing costs in Fort Lauderdale is about 35% higher.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, 35%. 35% cheaper to buy a house in Orlando than it is in South Florida.
So that made the decision to move to Orlando so much easier. So yeah, that's the number one reason.
Definitely,
cost of living,
definitely money.
down.
We saved a lot of money moving to
changed our
Orlando.
lives.
And we're a family of 6, so we have 4 daughters. So money is very important to us.
Can't raise these kids for free.
Yes.
All right.
Number 2, family-friendly atmosphere.
It's so much easier to get out with the family in Orlando. There's always something going on. Many times they're free.
Yes.
So we take our family to Lake Eola, to walk around. We might get some minchies or something like that.
No, so right now we're in Lake Nona. Lake Nona has Boxy Park, which is a park made out of storage containers. There's live entertainment, there's lots of food. It's a great time for the family, and they throw a ton of free events here as well in Lake Nona.
Every season there's a ton of events in Lake Nona at Boxy Park, and they're free.
Yeah.
They have a playground. You can grab a margarita while the kids are playing on the playground. We love Lake Nona.
So as you can see, we like free. Again, we have a family. We're a family of 6. So anything that we could spend less money and go out and have a great time is definitely a win for our family. So you have Lake Eola, you have Lake Nona, you have Waukewa Springs, and of course, all of the amusement parks.
The third reason why we moved to Orlando is the location.
Location, location, location.
So while we still have family in South Florida, we're here. We're only 3 hours away from there. We're close to a major airport, and we're an hour from each coast. So that means we can go to Cocoa Beach, New Smyrna Beach. That's one of our favorites. We can go to the West Coast. We can go to Madeira Beach. We can go to Clearwater and all those places on the West Coast of Florida. So Orlando is really a central location when it comes to, just getting anywhere. Even if we, like when we went on a long road trip to North Carolina, we're already halfway up the state.
Yes.
Everybody knows that the longest drive is coming from South Florida and trying to get out of Florida.
Absolutely, and especially plus having that major location, that major airport close by, we're able to get a lot more family coming to visit us. I can count how much family we've had more family come visit us in Orlando than we ever did living in Fort Lauderdale. So it's central, you can fly in, and again, great beaches. So we get to go to whatever beach we want, and you're talking about 45 minutes to an hour away from the beach.
Yep.
You can't beat that.
You can't.
We have the Space Center.
Kennedy Space Center.
Kennedy
is really
Space
cool.
Center, which we can actually see launches from our backyard. We can watch the
and
rocket.
not to mention we're like 20 minutes away from Disney World, SeaWorld, and Universal Studios. That's
Absolutely.
pretty cool.
So location. Orlando is central to everything. Number 4, definitely the weather. I mean, the weather is beautiful. Right now, it is 76 degrees, And this is what you can expect around this time of the year in Orlando. Now, it does get hot in the summer. It gets very hot
and humid.
And we do get a lot of rain here, but especially during this time of the year.
Fall is a dream in Orlando.
It's cool enough to put on a jacket and definitely warm enough to go to the beach.
Yep, or sit outside and talk
Yes.
about why we love Orlando and not sweat and just be hot and miserable.
Yes, because it does get hot in the summertime. But if you're coming from places like New York, Denver, Wisconsin, Chicago, you can't beat the weather here. There's no snow. It never snows. In fact, snow is illegal in Florida, I believe, right? But the weather is perfect all year round. Like I said, we do have some hot times, but it's pretty
Around
moderate.
October, it starts to cool off.
Yes.
The humidity starts to drop, and it just gets downright pleasant.
Yes.
Outside.
Definitely. So 76 degrees from what would you say from
the 90s.
Yeah, from the 90s. But we'll have a couple hot days sprinkled in during the winter, but the winter time is the ideal time to be outside doing those activities like going to Waukegan Springs or any of the many parks that we have here in Orlando, where you can go hiking, fishing, camping, and frisbee. There's so much things to do in the parks, and the weather makes it perfect to do those things, those outdoor activities. What do you think?
I agree. So the fifth reason we love Orlando is obviously the theme parks.
You cannot. Sorry.
Paul's so excited to talk about theme parks.
Woo.
So, I mean, outside of, SeaWorld and Disney World, Universal, there's still other theme parks like Gatorland.
Yes.
We live about 10 minutes from the Gatorland, and we went last summer. And it was so much fun feeding the gators. Feeding the gators. They had like a gator wrestling show. You can take a picture holding the gator. Yep, zip lining and a little train that goes through there. So Gatorland is pretty cool. And then
you have Volcano Bay. You have
SeaWorld.
You
Legoland.
have Fun Spot. You have Universal.
And then all the water parks, which is Aquatica,
Volcano
Disney,
Bay,
Blizzard Water Park, H2O Live,
H2O Live, yeah.
And then, on those times where you're a little cost conscious, there is Bob Mackinson Aquatic Center in Kissimmee, which is only $5.
$5.
To get in.
So if you have a big family like ours,
Sometimes,
$5 water parks. They have a diving board with a deep end. They have slides. They have the central one that has the water dump bucket that dumps water all over you, which is the kids love that.
The kids love.
But for $5 you cannot beat going to a water park for $5. So if you're in Orlando, definitely check out Bob Mackinson Aquatic Center. It's fun for the whole family. And we can't forget about Disney.
Of course not. So yeah, because you have downtown Disney. Oh, it's not called downtown.
No, well, Celebration, which is owned by Disney, but then you have Disney Boardwalk, which is 100% free. You can walk around Disney Boardwalk. You can go visit some restaurants and things there. We've done that many times.
Disney Springs. It used to be called Downtown Disney.
But now it's called Disney Springs.
Disney Springs.
Disney Springs is fun, which is similar to like Universal, Boardwalk.
They have a hot air balloon there that you can ride.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And then there's a bunch of other little small things, like for example, you have the I down on I Drive, which you have the biggest Ferris wheel ever. There's a bunch of rides there. Ripley's, believe it or not, ton of restaurants there. But yes, if you're coming to Orlando, you probably love amusement parks, and this is the capital of amusement parks. So